Hello and welcome back again. This video is going to be about our grater kits, which are not dissimilar to some of the other kitchen kits that we've got with the ferrules, but the ferrules on these are slightly different, and I'm going to show you to start with two that I've already made, just to really highlight the difference that you can do. Now, a ferrule, the purpose of a ferrule is to stop the wood splitting when you force something inside it. So normally what you would do is something like that. You will see this is the fine version of the grater. We do two types as a fine and a coarse, and you'll see that the V of the body has forced itself right down onto the ferrule. The body holds the ferrule in place and the ferrule stops the wood splitting. That's a traditional way of doing it. However, being a kitchen implement that has to be cleaned, there's another way of doing it. It's really not complicated. It just means that you leave a little bit more of the shaft sticking out, but you need to glue the ferrule in place unless you're turning that accurate that you can get it to force on and stay there, otherwise it will come loose. And I'm going to show you, because I've loosened this one already this morning. There you go, that will move up and down if you can see that. So you need to glue that in place to have it like this. Personally, I prefer this to keep water as far away from the handle as I possibly can. The kits themselves come in little packets like so. They've got the main blade and the shaft, the ferrule, and our little stainless steel end cap, so you can do a turn between centres project. It's nice and simple, and it also, with the finished product, looks as though it's got one steel shaft that goes all the way through. Yes, it's a bit of cheating. It makes it easier to turn, and therefore hopefully a bit more fun to do as well, instead of fighting around at one end. But if you want a one-ended kit and you want the wood at the other end, nothing, you can do that, nothing to stop you at all. But there we are, there's the other end of this particular kit, you can see there. So that's what I'm going to do this morning, and I'm going to do a fine one, because the fine one, whilst we've tested them all, the fine ones, I have to say, it's a really good Parmesan grater. These are, like most of our kitchen kits, really sharp, and they do actually work. So what we try to do at Prokraft is give you the bits that you can't make in your workshop yourself, that you can make something useful with. Hence this kind of kit. So without further ado, I'm going to do the drilling, and I'm going to measure the depth that I put the handle in. I'm not going to tell you that, because it's really up to you to decide how far in you want that to be. I've got a piece of oak that I've tried to stabilise in here. Whether it's stabilised or not, I don't know. I did it ages ago, before the cost of living crisis and everything else happened. We'll see how it turns out. The first thing I'm going to do is to measure this here. That's 5.7 millimeters, but it moves up to 6.5 millimeters there. So I'm going to base the hole that I drill on that measurement. I'm going to start off with a centre finder and then drill at this end, and then we'll look at drilling the opposite end and then turning between centres to the right diameters. You'll also see that most of these come with a little inner bit of plastic, or the outer. I've just left it on this while it's in the workshop, just to save it getting full of dust. And now I'm using my little end cap and just taking a measurement off that to drill this end up here, and this particular one is 5 millimeters. So I now have my two holes. Make sure you know which one's which. That's the smaller one for the end cap, and this is the main one for the body. I have a dead centre in this end and a live centre in this end, and we're just going to turn it between centres. Unfortunately, this bit of wood is absolutely full of cracks and holes. You can see there's a big crack here and there's a hole there, but I'm going to carry on because I just need to show you how it goes together. So the next thing I'm going to do is take my ferrule. I'm going to take a measurement off that 50. I'm going to spread that as far apart as I can get it, and then actually lock the calipers off, so that's actually quite difficult to come off. So I'm going to turn this section, the depth of the ferrule, up here, and for that I need to mark it with a pencil. Here we go. Right. Let's just have a little check. That is quite a good fit. Such a good fit, I can't get it off. There we go. Right, and because it's turned between centres, I can take it on and off the lathe to do any jobs that I might need to. Now we need to look at possibly doing something up this end. Right, how shall we shape that? Let's get my homemade tool. Let's see what we can do with this. Because it's actually quite a nice bit of wood and it's just got a couple of cracks, I'm just going to add a little bit of CA into the gaps and see if I can just save the bit of wood without having to trim it down too far. This one's quite a long handle. I think what I might do before I finish is actually take it inside, pop it on the laser little laser machine and actually write Parmesan on it. I might have a go at that, but for the time being I'm just going to let that CA soak in there before I add any activator. Now I'm using some of our acrylic polishing paste that I've just tested on a bit here. I've got to stress this bit of wood is stabilised, so it's impregnated with a resin, if you like, which means I can use this. Normally you can't use the acrylic paste on wood because it would just soak in and it won't do its job. How far in this has gone I'm not entirely sure, but let's see if we can do this end as success. Put my teeth in as successfully as that end. Well, that actually feels quite nice and it looks quite nice as well. The crack in there is not too noticeable. You do have to be careful if you get little nicks with a polishing paste, you need to get those out. There, that's come out now. Right, I'm going to see if I can write Parmesan on it. There we go. I knew it would focus eventually, so it's been on the little laser machine. There is a handle. I'm going to pop a little bit of wax on the handle part, however not this part, because I'm going to glue this part. I'm going to use a 2-part epoxy in there, a little bit around the edge for the ferrule, and a tiny little bit in this end here. So what we'll get is the ferrule on the end. Then we'll have the blade, making sure that the writing, hang on, there we go, making sure that the writing and the blade are the correct way round. And if I can get hold of it, there we go, the little end cap in there. And when we've done that and put it all together, I might even go in the kitchen and show you how it works. So we'll go and use this to show you, as always, how it works. I'm just going to use the packet that it came in, just to pop it back in there whilst the glue finishes setting, and we'll now go and see if we can show you how it works. But as far as I'm concerned, that's all for today. Thanks very much for watching. Until next time, take care, enjoy your turning, box making, whatever it is you do in your workshop. Bye bye for now.